Yo, what's up, dudes? How's it going? This is on, right? Yeah, I think it is. So, how was your Christmas? Oh, yeah? Ooh. Yikes. So, I am back with new video, and I thought we would go back and look at the guitars of 2014. We can take a look at all the guitars that made it to the basement in 2014, starting with this one here. The 1982 Fender The Strat. As I said in the video on it, this is a total nostalgia move on my end. I had one of these, looked exactly like this guitar. This one's actually even a little nicer than the one I had. It was the newer model that had better specs than the one I had. I had an 81. This is the 82. And, I picked it up in very, very early January, like the first week of January. The second week of January. Early January. So this was the first guitar of 2014. And the cool thing about this guitar is it's not just a Strat, which it is, all the Strat sounds, but it has this two-way knob here that gives a lot more combinations, There it is, heavy. It's probably the heaviest guitar of the year. I think I can say that. All right, let's bring up guitar number 2. Okay, we're back. Guitar number 2, picked up right around the 4th of July. So, little gap, so January to July. And this is, again, a total nostalgia run for me. This is a completely purchased out of nostalgia. So this was the first nice guitar I owned. My first electric was an Aria ES335. I think that's called the 510T. But this was the first solid body electric, other than I think I had a Harmony. It was really bad Japanese guitars you could buy at Leachmere. Like really horrible stuff. So that one didn't really count. I never really played that at all. My guitar teacher wanted me to play the Aria, so I did. And because he thought it was a much better guitar. So, plus he was a big jazz guy, so he didn't like solid body electrics. He was a hollow body guy, so... Anyway, this was guitar number 2. It's a 1976 Ibanez Les Paul copy. I don't think they called it the Les Paul. They called it like the 2310 or something like that. I forget the number. But I picked this up. The cool thing about this is that it has these vintage Duncan distortions in it. And my original one had DiMarzio Super Distortion, so it's kind of cool to get these sort of similar style pickup, a little bit heavier humbucker than your standard fare. Really like this one a lot. Bobby loves this one. He's like, that's actually really good. I know, it's pretty good, huh? He likes the action, really low action. All right, so guitar number 2. Let's go grab guitar number 3. Okay, we're back. I'm using the same patch for all. I'm using the same patch for all three guitars, so we can hear how they sound. How much brighter this one sounds. So this is a 1983 Squier, made in Japan, a Japanese-made Squier by Fender. This is like the second round. Their first round was like a 57 and a 62, and this was their 70s one. And these are very well-made guitars. And the reason why I picked it up was because it was so cheap. Right? It was like $330. So that's why I got this. I got this probably in August. Maybe September. It's got a great neck. The attention to detail, just from like the rolling of the edge of the fingerboard, and just the whole guitar is a really, really well-made guitar. It's such a classic Strat, and I love the sort of David Gilmour 70s look of it. It's really cool. So, bullet truss rod again. All these 70s. You know, 70s features that I just think are cool. And, I like this is like from like a 75 through like 79, where they included the black pickguard. They had the larger headstock. But these tuners are nicer than what you could actually get from Fender at the time. Fender basically had, covered tuners, where these are sealed and greased, a little nicer, actually. I love this guitar. It has a really nice bright sound. It's great for like funk. Blues. Anyway, guitar number 3. All right, let's go grab guitar number 4. I know it's been a busy year. I think this is the last one. No, maybe 2 more. All right, we'll find out. Be back in a sec. All right, dudes, back again. RG550. This was Bobby's. I traded him my Squier 60 Strat, and this had some issues when it came in, but I got it straightened out. This pickguard is still definitely warped. It's annoying, but what are you gonna do? The bridge definitely had a little setup issue, and the neck was a little tweaked a little bit, but I got it. The guy scalloped the fingerboard up here. It's definitely beat up, and he painted the headstock. I think it was originally black, because this is an 88. So if it's an 87, 88, I think it's either an 87 or an 88. The headstocks on those were black, and then they went to yellow. And the original guy, he painted it yellow, but the yellow was way off. This one's still off. When Bobby got it, he did it, but he wanted to do a black with the the white logo or the silver logo there, and they sent him the wrong color. They sent him the black, so he had to wind up doing it yellow. And of course, you have a tough time matching these day glow colors, so it never quite matches. But that's okay. It doesn't really affect the sound. And it's weird, it's sort of scalloped from like the 14th fret up. Very lightly though. But it helps, Anyway, it's decent. It's not the, I wish it had the V1 and the V2, but it's the V7 and the V8. So this might be a later model, but I could be wrong. It doesn't have a date on it, and it doesn't say on the plate, does it? No. They didn't put the serial number on the plate. They put the serial number on the back on a plate, and you can almost see where the plate used to be. So I think it's like an 88 with probably an 87 serial number. Ibanez did that a lot. They would produce the guitar, and it would have a serial number from the year it was made, but the guitar didn't make it into shops until like the next year. Because my other one, my RG560, has an 87 serial number, and I clearly bought that in February of 1988. Definitely the next year. And it was brand new, just came in. And again, this was a bit of a nostalgia. Walk down memory lane for me. I had pretty much this exact guitar back in the late 80s. Like 89, somewhere around there, 88, 89, I picked it up. And what I wound up doing was trading the neck off of it. I had a dude who worked in the music store. He had an RG760 with the shark tooth inlay and the binding on the neck. And I had the maple, and he wanted a maple neck so bad. He wanted the maple fingerboard. And so we wound up trading. And he loved it. I was fine. He sanded the headstock down and painted it black with no logo at all. And he had like the gunmetal gray one, or whatever that was called, the gray one for the RG560. Anyway, this was guitar number what? Number 4. All right, I think I have one more. Be right back. All right, here we are back. The Radius. This was the last one. And this one was purchased just because, again, it was sort of a crazy price. They thought it was an S420. It's clearly a 540 Radius. It even has the backstop, in it that I fixed and, put back in. It was a bit of a project. I had to clean it up, but I think it came out great. I could not be happier with this guitar. And again, under $300. And so a lot of people say, why do you try to stick to under $300? Because you can get guitars like this for under $300 if you bide your time and keep your eye out and pounce. Don't forget pouncing when the pounce time is right, because if you don't, it will be gone. There was my Fender, my red Fender, the Strat there. So one of those showed up on Guitar Center used not too long ago. I showed it to Bobby, and he was like, "Oh, I should." He goes, "Look at that guitar." He goes, "It looks really." It was a white one. It was the Alpine White, same year, 82. So it had all the nice appointments that only the 82 model has. And they wanted $10.99, which is cheap for that. And he was like, "Oh, geez, maybe I should get it, man. And, should I get it? Should I get it?" And he wound up not getting it. And of course, it sold very quickly. It was gone like later the same day. And sure enough, 5 days later, I see it on eBay, and the guy wants like $3,500 for it, which I don't think he got. I checked it later, and it seems like he lowered his price, or he took like a best offer of $1,700. But still, he probably, with shipping and everything, probably paid about $1,250, and he sold it for $1,700 in a week, right? 5 days later. So there's definitely some bargains to be had on Guitar Center used. I mean, if the market is any indication, They tend to be a little priced a little low. I think I got, well, with the exception of the RG, let's see, the Strat, the red Strat came from Guitar Center used. The Ibanez Les Paul came from Craigslist. The 70s SQ Strat, that was Guitar Center used. The RG 550 was a trade. And this came from Guitar Center used. So there are bargains on there. And but the thing is, you gotta be willing to pay for it, check it out, and just return it right there if you don't like it. That's what I do. You know, if it comes in and I'm not like thrilled with it, right back, right to the, I'm not gonna take it, and I get a refund. But the thing is that you can't just have it shipped to your local store. You got to buy it. So you got to lay out that money and get it shipped. And unless you can give a good reason, sometimes they don't want to give you return your shipping. If it shows up and you can say this guitar has problems, you can usually get your shipping back. Or it's not what they said it was. It shows up and it doesn't match the picture. You can say, and they'll be like, okay, no problem. Because that's happened at least twice. So there it is. There are the guitars of 2014. I will be back very soon. We're going to wrap up 2014 and talk about 2015. And that's about it. All right, guys. As always, rock on. Yo, what's up, dude? What's up? So I thought we would take a look at the guitars of 2015. So I think there were definitely 4 guitars. Were there 5 this year? I don't think so. I think it was 4. Well, we'll find out, won't we? So this was the first one, January of 2015, right before the NAMM show. I scored this for $275, really $274.95 from Guitar Center used. It has the wonderful MJ wound. What is that? That's the Screaming Demon? No. Full shred. Full shred. And that's an RG, Ibanez RG 760. It's in, I think it's an 89. It's a 1989. And the other 2 pickups are stock. You know. So that was the first one of the new year. It was listed as an RG 570. Obviously, that was wrong. And I think the bridge pickup was wired incorrectly, if I remember correctly. It was wired as a single coil, and that won't work. And, you know, that leads to inexpensive guitars. Number one, they don't know what they have, and number 2, there's an electronics problem with it that's easily fixable, but they don't know what they're doing, so that's when you can pick up these guitars, which went for, I think, $699 brand new back in 1989. So, you know, they weren't inexpensive guitars. $699 back in 89. Today is, you know, probably over $1,000. And, you know, I paid under $300 for it. All right, guys, that's it. That's the first guitar. We'll have to figure out what the next one is, but I'll be right back, and we'll check out guitar number 2. See you in a sec. All right, we're back. Second guitar of the year. The Chapman ML7T. I love this guitar. It's obviously a 7-string. And I was looking for a 7-string. Because in the fall, I had done a little jingle with a friend of mine, and he wanted a real heavy guitar to point. So we tried a few different things, but the one that sounded the best was my Universe Copy 7-string. But, you know, that has that horrible Floyd Rose copy that doesn't stay in tune. I needed something stable, and in a 7-string, you don't really need a tremolo arm. I find that the stop tailpiece works better. So I met Joe from Riff City at the NAMM show, and we had been texting back and forth, and we had talked about this at one point, and I wound up getting one. And, you know, they're just so nice. I mean, that beautiful heel in the back, and the ebony fingerboard, and the reverse headstock. I mean, the whole thing is just cool. The coil cut, and, you know, the guitar is just awesome. So really, you know, it really filled a need. I did want a 7-string. I don't want all 7 strings. You know, 1 or 2 is enough. But I think you kind of need one. Just like a baritone. I think, you know, maybe in 2016 I'll pick up a baritone guitar. Maybe even that baritone Chapman. That looks pretty sweet. You know. What's the other one I like by them is that ML3, I think modern. That's with the 2 humbuckers and the mahogany body. That one's been on my radar too, but too many guitars, not enough time. I'm playing through TH3. I'm on the 10-minute demo. My demo's finally caught up. So on the last reboot, it finally said, you can get another 10-day demo in 48 weeks. I was like, gee, thanks. So I'm working on the 10-minute demo right now. All right, so that was the second guitar, the ML7T. Let's see what's up next. I'll see you in a sec. All right, we're back. Third guitar of 2015, the Charvel San Dimas. Is made in Mexico, and it's got the flame maple veneer. They call this, what is it, like Black Burst, I think. And of course, it's a one-piece maple neck, and the Floyd Rose 1000 trem, which is identical in every way except longitude and latitude to the Floyd Rose original, the original Floyd Rose. So the only difference is that the 1000 isn't available retail. Got to be OEM and buy, like, you know, probably 10,000 units, or at least 1,000 units minimum order. But they are metallurgically identical to the ones made in Germany by Schaller. So they're just made in Korea. But don't confuse them with the like specials or twos or any of those other ones. It's not the same. These are the real deal. So I think there was a little confusion when I first talked about this guitar. Got the Seymour Duncan pickups and no tone. which I think without the tone circuit gives it a little bit more bite. Actually, you know, I found this guitar pretty bright from the start. It's always been a little bright, but that's okay. That's what it's all about, having a little bit different stuff here, there, everywhere. You know how that goes. Anyway, this was the third guitar. At least I think it was. Either this one was the third or the next one was the third. But one of these two were the third. I might have to check my list. All right. So this was I think the third or fourth. All right, guys. We'll be up next with what's either the third or fourth guitar in the series. All right, see you in a sec. All right, we're back. So this is a 1991, I think. Yeah, I think it's a 91. It's either a 91 or a 92. I think it's actually a 92 with the 91 serial number, which is something they did a lot back then. Ibanez S540 in laser blue. And the pickups have been changed. This is a vintage 80s Seymour Duncan little 59. 59, and this is a little 59. The little 59 is not old and vintage. That's relatively new. But the 59 is definitely old and vintage. It has a sticker dating from probably the mid to late 80s. And it was wound by Lydia Daniels. And the middle pickup is just stock. The IBZ USA, which is a DiMarzio. The bite on that. I think I gotta raise the bridge up on this a hair because I lowered it a little bit, and I'm feeling just a tiny bit of right there. Yeah, it's definitely not working right. I think my demo is over here. Hold on, we got to reauthorize the demo here. 10 minutes go by that fast? I suppose, there we go. I suppose it did. The only bummer about, the demo is that every time it comes back, obviously it comes back with all your settings reset, So I have to just turn the gate up. Luckily, it doesn't have to go through and learn your audio hardware again. Anyway, this was the fourth guitar I actually checked before I came back out here to see whether this or the Charvel was the third or the fourth, and this was the fourth, and the Charvel was the third. So this was $249. The Charvel was $499, which is about $100 less than I normally see it for. This at $249 is about $200 less than I normally see them for. At least a good 100. They seem to get around, I don't know, $350 to $450 for these. Of course, you see people on Craigslist that are like, rare American-made guitar made in Pennsylvania. It's like, now custom-made American Ibanez, $1,200. And it's like, oh, God. Nope. Nope. That's not going to happen. So, anyway, this was guitar number 4. I think we got one left. I'll be back in a sec with the final guitar of 2015. See you in a sec. All right, we're back. And this is it. The final guitar of 2015. This is I think it's a 2001. I think it's an 01. Yeah, 2001. 2001 Fender American Deluxe HSS Stratocaster in aged cherry burst with the mint green pickguard, single double in the roller nut and the locking tuners Spurzell style. And the saddles were replaced with Graphtec saddles. And that's about it. And this I got for $6.50 because it had this massive ding on the back of the neck that I filled in with a little bit of super glue and sanded it down, and it has been mint ever since. And this might be the best deal. I mean, I don't know, that laser blue. Those two Ibanez are pretty good deals. But I was pretty stoked with this guitar after I fixed it up. When I first got it, I was like, "What the hell is this?" They're like, what? Huh?" They're like, they didn't know what to say, but it's been completely fixed. It is a non-issue at this point. In fact, they had the companion piece to this, which was Tobacco Sunburst, so a browner burst, obviously, and or they call it Vintage Burst, I forget. But it's the browner version of the burst, but not black. Right? It doesn't have black at the edge; it's brown at the edge. So it's not like their standard, sunburst. And it was the 3 singles, and it had the the S1 switch there, which this one doesn't have. This is before they implemented those electronics in the design. So I think it was going for $6.99, or it might have been $6.50, could have been $6.49, but it had a massive dent right in the front, and it even cracked. Whatever hit it also cracked the pickguard a little bit. So a tiny little crack in the pickguard and a big dent. And boy, let me tell you, I looked at that dent for a long time. I was like, I could probably steam half of it out and then fill the rest with super glue and polish it out, and then boom, it's sold. It's like too much time scheming, not enough time buying. So didn't get it, but that's okay. I got plenty of guitars this year. There may be one more on the way, a project guitar, which probably wouldn't count for this year because it wouldn't, I think, be ready until next year. So I think this will be the final guitar of the year. Right here. The Fender. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks so much for stopping by. And rock on.